Hello and welcome back. It's day 3 of 30 days challenge and we are doing security topic of GS3 and today's subtopic is basics of cybersecurity, money laundering and its prevention, security challenges and their management in border areas, linkages of organized crimes with terrorism. So let's start with the first question. The first question is, in the digital era, cyberspace has emerged as a strategic national security concern for India and allies. Now, the topic here is cyberspace. Now, after writing what's required in this question, I'll also include every other possible dimension so that in future we can solve any question related to this topic. So, let's start. With over 2.05 million cyber incidents reported by Certain in 2024, India's rapid digitalization has made cyberspace a critical national security domain. How is it different from traditional warfare? It is independent theater of war, borderless, contactless, disguised attacks, and multidimensional impact. Now I have put a heading, Cyberspace a strategic national security concern. Now how is it a national security concern? First point, rising cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, which includes power grids, telecom, transport, and financial systems. Example, 2023 AIMS ransomware attack that had crippled hospital services for days and had exposed the vulnerabilities in the health infrastructure. Now, next point, geopolitical cyber operations by state actors. In the part 1 of security, we have discussed what are state actors and non-state actors. Cyber operations by state actors, they are basically done for espionage, strategic leverage, and geopolitical supremacy. For example, Chinese linked group called Stone Panda targeted India's power sector during Ladakh standoff in 2020 and in 2022 as well. Now, according to 2023 India Threat Landscape report by Sai Pharma, which said that between 2021 and 2023, the state-sponsored cyber attacks against India went up by 278%. That was between 2021 and 2023. Third point is threat to military network and defense assets. For example, Navik satellite communication spoofing 2022. This highlighted the risk of strategic assets. The fourth point is growth of cyber crimes and financial frauds. इसमें एग्जाम्पल हो गया that India had lost over 22k crores to online banking and UPI frauds in 2024. And this figure has been rising annually with increase in digital payments. Fifth point includes psychological warfare, that is by misinformation, communal provocation, and political manipulation. Examples we have seen yesterday that deep fake videos during 2024 Lok Sabha elections were circulated. Sixth point is increases vulnerability due to digital dependence. Government services, Aadhaar, banking, and logistics are heavily dependent on digital systems. So there was a case of deep web proliferation where Aadhaar details and banking details were sold. Example, 2021 NIC based outage disrupted government portals nationwide, showing systemic fragility. This erodes public trust and undermines governance legitimacy. Seventh point is hybrid warfare. There were lessons from Russia-Ukraine war which show that how cyber intrusions can amplify kinetic conflict. Now, what is India's response? India's response can be classified into three approaches. First is institutional mechanisms. For example, Cyber Swachhata Kendra, which were involved in botnet cleaning and malware analysis. Then Digital Personal Data Protection Act, DPDP, 2023. Then we all have seen this, Certain, very famous. Then NCIIPC, this is new, which is National Critical Information and Infrastructure Protection Center. Then I4C, this is also famous in our content. Then comes legislative reforms. In this draft Digital India Act 2024, amendments to IT Act, then operational initiatives. These include Cyber Surakshit Bharat, we did yesterday, then NCRP, we did yesterday. Then there are also cyber cells in each state. Then ongoing cyber drills with Quad partners. Then India's G20 Digital Economy Working Group pushed for global cyber norms. Now comes persistent challenges. First is skill deficit. India needs close to 1 million trained cyber professionals by 2025. Then encryption and jurisdictional hurdle. So basically, global platforms resist data sharing. Then evolving nature of the threats. For example, rapid AI evolution, that is generative AI deepfakes. And then in 2023, there was this example of worm GPT, you can call it. It was a black hat version of ChatGPT that generated malicious content plus phishing emails. Then fourth point can be lack of awareness. Fifth point can be lack of proper security infrastructure. Then way forward can be written as end user protection, cyber insurance, administrative reforms. इसमें administrative reforms में आएगा कि there has been multiplicity of organizations, so there are also overlapping of jurisdiction, so this should be brought under one umbrella. Then comes digital literacy, awareness programs, cyber forensics. Then there are international practices as well. For example, US has a separate cyber command, जैसे कि उसका आर्मी कमांड होगा, एयरफोर्स कमांड, देन नेवी कमांड. So it also has a separate cyber command. Then NATO also has designated cyberspace as a operation domain. Then there is International Telecommunication Union of United Nations. The next can be Budapest Convention on Cybercrime 2004. So we can see how cybersecurity has moved from a back-end technical issue to a frontline domain of national security. So for India, safeguarding cyberspace requires technological innovations, public-private partnerships, skill development, and active international cyber diplomacy to ensure a secure and sovereign digital future. Types of cyber threats. First is malware. A malware is a malicious software, for example, Trojan, ransomware, spyware, worms, etc. Then phishing. Phishing may they gather personal information using deceptive emails and websites. Then SQL injection. It is a type of cyber attack where it manipulates database queries by inserting malicious SQL code into a web application's input fields, for example, login forms. Then you can see one more subtopic under it, that is critical information infrastructure. इसकी definition क्या है? According to the section 71 of IT Act, it is defined as a computer resource, the incapacitation or destruction of which shall have debilitating impact on national security, economy, public health, or safety. So it is a backbone of countless critical operations and it will lead to crippling of other sectors. अगर ये फेल हुआ तो बाकी सारे सेक्टर्स फेल हो जाएंगे. इसका एग्जाम्पल है बहुत ही फेमस वेव ऑफ डिनायल ऑफ सर्विसेज अटैक इन एस्टोनिया 2017. Now how is CII protected in India? Basically NCII PC we have seen certain, and then there is also a legal provision which says that secure access or attempts to dismantle CII can be punished and jail up to 10 years. So this was all about cyber security, cyberspace, cyber warfare. Now we can answer from this content, we can answer every question related to this. We won't face any problem, I believe. Now moving on to the second question, that is money laundering undermines economic integrity and fuels security threats. Examine. Now in this question we'll learn everything about मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग. इस क्वेश्चन को तो आंसर कर ही लेंगे, साथ में जो और भी डायमेंशन होंगे, ताकि इस टॉपिक से कोई भी क्वेश्चन आए तो हम कर पाएँ. आई विल ऑल्सो इंक्लूड एग्जाम्पल्स and everything. So money laundering is not just an economic offense but a multi-dimensional threat enabling terrorism, narco trafficking, corruption and organized crimes, especially for a country like India with its vast cash economy and porous borders. Channels of laundering: first is Hawala network, second is shell companies and crypto assets, then third trade based laundering, फोर्थ रियल स्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट. हवाला नेटवर्क्स के बारे में हमने काफ़ी सुना रहता है. आई होप एवरीबडी अंडरस्टैंड्स दिस. हमने काफ़ी सारी मूवीज़ में भी देखा है कैसे हवाला काम करता है. इट्स अ इनफॉर्मल ट्रस्ट बेस्ड सिस्टम फॉर ट्रांसफरिंग मनी दैट ऑपरेट्स विदाउट द फिजिकल मूवमेंट ऑफ कैश. दो लोग हैं, ए एंड बी. ए दूसरी कंट्री में है, बी दूसरी कंट्री में है, एंड उनको ए को एक्स अमाउंट ट्रांसफ़र करना है बी को. तो जो ए है वो लोकल हवाला डीलर जो कि उसकी कंट्री में है उसके पास जाएगा और उसको वो एक्स अमाउंट दे देगा. तो जो लोकल हवाला डीलर है वो उसको एक यूनिक कोड या फिर टोकन टाइप का देगा. देन दैट डीलर विल कॉन्टैक्ट अनदर लोकल डीलर ऑफ द कंट्री इन विच बी रिसाइड्स. सो बी विल अप्रोच दैट लोकल हवाला डीलर इन हिज और हर कंट्री एंड बी को कोड पता ही रहेगा जो कि उसको ये बता देगा. तो बी उस लोकल हवाला डीलर को कोड बताएगा विच विल सर्व एज अ प्रूफ ऑफ देयर आइडेंटिटी एंड विल कलेक्ट द मनी. सो लाइक दिस हवाला सिस्टम वर्क्स. देन शेल कंपनीज एंड क्रिप्टो एसेट्स, दे कंसील इलिसिट फंड्स. यहाँ पे कोई ईजिली मॉनिटरिंग नहीं कर पाता है. देन ट्रेड बेस्ड लॉन्ड्रिंग, ये कैसे होती है? दैट over or under invoicing of import exports and misuse of free trade zones. Then real estate investments, black money is parked in urban property markets, we all know this. Now how does it undermine economic integrity? First point, distorts financial market and legitimate competition. Illegal funds entering real estate, stock markets, trade systems, they basically inflate prices and crowd out the genuine businesses. We have read this in economy. For example, ED raids in 2022 exposed 3,000 dummy firms. Second point, reduces government revenue and tax collection. CBDT estimates 20,000 plus crores lost annually through fake invoicing. थर्ड पॉइंट, प्रमोट्स करप्शन एंड वीकेंस इंस्टीट्यूशन. जैसे कि 2G एंड कोल ब्लॉक स्कैम्स हुए थे. सो व्हाट दे डू इज़ दे एरोड ट्रस्ट इन गवर्नेंस. फोर्थ पॉइंट, इट वीकेंस बैंकिंग सेक्टर स्टेबिलिटी. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है? बैंक्स अननोइंगली हैंडलिंग लॉन्डर्ड मनी फेस कंप्लायंस रिस्क्स पेनल्टी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल HSBC was fined $1.9 billion in 2012. HSBC is Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation. And fifth point can be it encourages capital flight and black economy growth. Then how does money laundering fuels security threats? First point, financing terrorism and extremist groups. For example, Lashkar-e-Toiba and ISIS, they route funds via Hawala. Hawala we have learnt. Second point, it strengthens organized crime networks. For example, Narcotics Control Bureau reported 2,500 plus crore drug money laundered via crypto and darknet in 2022. Third point, it enables corruption-driven threats to governance, distorts election policy making, undermining democratic stability. For example, seizure of rupees 8,000 plus crore in election-related cash and valuables in 2019 and 2024 Lok Sabha polls combined. Then supports cross-border criminal syndicates. For example, narco-terrorism, Golden Crescent. इसमें एक और एग्जांपल दे सकते हैं जैसे डी कंपनीज नेटवर्क चैनल फंड्स थ्रू UAE, पाक एंड साउथ ईस्ट एशिया टू फंड क्राइम टेरर एक्टिविटीज़. जैसे कि हमने देखा था 1993 मुंबई ब्लास्ट में. गोल्डन क्रेसेंट अगले क्वेश्चन में डायग्राम बनाया हुआ है, वहाँ पे देख लेंगे इस चीज़ को. I hope everybody knows this, and those who don't, will do it in the next question. Fifth point, fuel cybercrimes and digital fraud. For example, mule accounts and gift cards के through. Now, what is India's response? First, legislative में PMLA Act, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002, and then Benami Transactions Act also. Then institutional में हमारा ED आ गया, and Financial Intelligence Unit. Then judicial, Supreme Court in Vijay Madan Lal Chaudhary versus Union of India case, it basically upheld ED's investigative powers. Fourth is international, FATF's grey listing threats to Pakistan pressured compliance against terror financing. It was a recent example. Now, what are the gaps and challenges? First is cryptocurrencies. They are largely outside PMLA's monitoring net. Second is over-reliance on ED. It weakens preventive mechanisms like banking compliance. Then third point can be global jurisdictional limits. For example, funds routed via offshore tax havens. Then way forward of money laundering topic can be India must adopt a dual strategy, that is strengthen preventive mechanism and deepen global cooperation. अब strengthening preventive mechanism के अंदर आएगा AI based monitoring and compliance culture, और deep global cooperation में आ जाएगा FATF and G20 frameworks को strengthen करना. Now its conclusion can be a resilient financial system is indispensable for national security and democratic legitimacy. Now from this content, I believe that we can answer all the questions related to money laundering. Now moving on to the third question, that is organized crimes and terrorism are increasingly converging in India, analyzed with examples. अब इसमें organized crime and terrorism के बीच में linkages क्या हैं वो हम देखते हैं. So organized crimes and terrorism, once viewed as distinct phenomena, are today part of symbiotic nexus. This convergence magnifies internal security threats by combining the resources of crime with the ideology of terror. Then I have made this flowchart type of a thing in which this is terrorism and this sphere is of organized crimes. Now organized crimes क्या होते हैं? Smuggling, drugs, FICN, that is fake Indian currency notes, and extortion. अब terrorism का क्या पार्ट है? Ideology, violence, radicalization. और जब ये दोनों मिक्स हो जाते हैं तो क्या बन जाता है? Crime terror nexus. और उसमें क्या होता है? Shared logistics, financing and manpower. So if you like this flowchart, you can also draw it in your answers. Now, how does organized crimes work as a terror enabler? First point, smuggling networks, for example, arms and explosives trafficked along the Indo-Myanmar border. Second is fake Indian currency notes. ISI-backed cartels push counterfeit currency notes via Nepal and Bangladesh because these borders are porous. Then drug trade, इसमें Golden Triangle and Golden Crescent routes finance insurgent outfits in Northeast and Punjab. जैसा कि हम इस डायग्राम में देख सकते हैं, this is Golden Crescent. It includes 3 countries, Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and this is Golden Triangle. It includes basically 4 countries, Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand. अब ये जो हैं ये ड्रग्स स्मगल करवाते हैं, ट्रैफिक करवाते हैं इन जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एंड इन दिस पार्ट पंजाब, राजस्थान. ओके, एंड दिस गोल्डन ट्रायंगल की जो कंट्रीज़ है वहाँ से ड्रग्स स्मगल होता है नॉर्थ ईस्ट में. तो ये बेसिकली क्या करता है? ये फंडिंग का सोर्स हो जाता है एंड विच आर यूज्ड फॉर फाइनेंसिंग द टेरर एक्टिविटीज़ इन JNK एंड बाय इंसर्जेंट्स इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट. Then in this diagram I have also made cattle smuggling, which is into Bangladesh. This is left-wing extremism we had seen on day 1 and day 2 as well. And then coastal terrorism on the western coast. Now how terror groups are using criminal methods. First point, extortion and levy. Maoist extracts funds from contractors and businesses in left wing extremism zones. We had seen this on day 1. Second is kidnapping and ransom. Militants in J&K and Northeast sustain operations through abductions. वहाँ पे abduction करके फिरौती मांगते हैं, तो वहाँ से पैसा आता है which is used to fund training and arms. Third point is narcotics. Lashkar-e-Toiba modules involved in drug peddling to raise funds. Now case studies, for example 26/11 Mumbai attacks, जहाँ पे ये पाया गया था कि लॉजिस्टिक सपोर्ट एंड रिकॉनेसेंस वाज एडेड बाय अंडरवर्ल्ड नेटवर्क्स. देन दाऊद इब्राहिम सिंडिकेट, नार्को टेरर लिंकेजेस विद ISI, फाइनेंसिंग टेरर थ्रू स्मगलिंग एंड एक्सटॉर्शन, जिसको हमने देखा था 1993 मुंबई ब्लास्ट में. आई हैव इंक्लूडेड दिस वन मोर फ्लो चार्ट दैट एस्टैब्लिशेस लिंक बिटवीन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स एंड टेररिस्ट. इसको आप चाहें तो बना सकते हैं. इसमें क्या है, जैसे ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स और नीचे टेररिस्ट, दे बोथ कंबाइन एंड दिस फिनोमेना इज कॉल्ड ब्लैक होल सिंड्रोम. अभी कैसे कंबाइन या कैसे कन्वर्ज होते हैं वो देखते हैं. ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स, अलायंस विद टेरर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, यूज ऑफ टेरर टैक्टिक्स फॉर ऑपरेशनल पर्पजेस. एंड देन टेररिस्ट, अलायंस विद क्रिमिनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटी फॉर टेरर फाइनेंस. ये दोनों मिलकर बना देते हैं ब्लैक होल सिंड्रोम. So if you want, you can also draw this flow chart. Now what is state's response? First is legislation, that is UAPA 1967, NDPS 1985, MACOCA 1999, PMLA 2002 to prosecute both crime and terror. NDPS का फुल फॉर्म है नार्कोटिक ड्रग्स एंड साइकोट्रॉपिक सब्सटेंसेस एक्ट 1985. इसका फुल फॉर्म है Maharashtra Control of Organized Crime Act 1999. And this is Prevention of Money-laundering Act. What are the institutional response? NIA हम जानते हैं, ED, DRI. DRI is Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. They target terror financing and organized crimes network. Then international, we have seen this example in the previous question also, that FATF pressure exposed Pak's role in funding cross-border terrorism. A multi-pronged approach integrating law enforcement, financial intelligence, community resilience, and diplomatic pressure is essential to dismantle this lethal convergence. Now I have included one more dimension, that is points of difference. That what is the difference between organized crimes and terrorism? Now organized crimes का जो aim होता है, that is to form a parallel government while coexisting with the existing one. तो साइड बाई साइड वो अपना चलाते रहते हैं नेक्सस. एंड टेररिज्म एम्स टू ओवरथ्रो द एग्जिस्टिंग गवर्नमेंट बाय ऑल्टरिंग द स्टेटस को. देन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स प्रेफर्स टू बी नॉन वायलेंट बट नॉट ऑलवेज. अगर उनको पकड़ा जाएगा तो दे माइट रिजॉल्व टू वायलेंस, बट टेररिज्म ऑलवेज एंड प्राइमरीली यूजेज वायलेंट मीन्स ओनली. देन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स का क्या होता है, इकोनॉमिक ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है, एंड टेररिज्म का पॉलिटिकल ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है. नाउ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स में हमेशा 3 या उससे ज़्यादा पार्टीज़ रहेंगे, बट टेररिज्म में कभी कभी लोन वुल्फ भी होते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल स्लीपर सेल्स. सो दीज वर द बेसिक्स पॉइंट्स ऑफ डिफरेंस ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम्स एंड टेररिज्म. नाउ टुमारो, दैट इज़ day 4, we'll be doing the last topic of security, that is various security forces and agencies and their mandate. So you can have a look at these questions for tomorrow. Apart from this, we'll be also completing some left topics and maybe some left questions. Northeast and J&K पे थोड़ा zoom मारेंगे, and we'll also include some topics like bioterrorism, piracy in Indian Ocean region, coastal terrorism. Yeah, so these. Thank you.